South Africa, the southernmost point of the African continent, territory crossed by the Tropic of Capricorn. The Rainbow Nation, inhabited by millenary tribes. The region where the oceans meet, where the mountains coexist with the forest, the desert, the jungles. The habitat of the buffalo, the rhinoceros, the hippopotamus, the elephant, the lion. South Africa is the land of 1,000 landscapes, of 11 languages, of an astounding culture and a painful history. Here, on the east of the country, bathed by the Indian Ocean, is the Kwa Zulu Natal region, one of the 9 provinces that constitute the Republic of South Africa. It is in this place where Dan and Christine Olofsson, Swedish philanthropists with strong ties to South African communities, conceived a project focused on health, children, and youth. Everything started in 2005, when South Africa became the epicenter of the HIV crisis. In that moment, they realized many people around them were dying, sometimes without even knowing the real cause, or often hiding their disease. With deep concern about what was happening, they decided to face this reality by developing the Star for Life initiative.
In February 2005, we gathered a team, I don't know, we were 12, 13 people. And it was South African. We got to know a deputy principal on a neighboring school, and it was Swedes. So we gathered then on a brainstorming week in February 2005. And we were out in the school and so on. Yeah, our thinking was like this, that the government was on its way with the retrovirus drugs. But the key thing is that the young generation shouldn't get HIV so much. And where are the young children? Out of schools. So we get to know the school. So our basic idea was to run a program in the schools. So during that week, we actually came up with the basic idea of Star for Life. And that is that every young child has dreams about their own life. And it could be different dreams. Jobs, family, sports, and that generates a positive energy. And we want them to be stars in their own life, to fulfill their own dreams. We started that they got that dream book, but they write every day about their own dreams. And that generates the thinking. They want to reach that goal. And if you're going to reach that goal, you need to do some sacrifices, and you need to see what you have to do. So we start with the dream book, and then in the second workshop we say that if you are going to fulfill your dreams, you need to be age-free. And there are many different ways to become age-free. But to put it simple, you shouldn't have very many partners with unprotected sex, because then the risk is very high. So you need to protect yourself and so on. So that was actually the start 2005, and then we put together a team of 10 people who worked for 3 months to create a program in the schools. But in order to change behavior, which is very difficult, you need to work long term. And then we, in July, started a pilot project in that school. It works from July until December. We came in December. Everybody was so happy. It was the best thing they ever seen. Parents, teachers, learners. So Christine and I thought that this is going to be our project. We're going to run it in 40 schools. So that was the big idea. And then we started building up an organization, started fundraising. And since that, it has just been growing. So today we have 120 schools in South Africa and Namibia. So 450,000 learners has gone through the program. And each of them connects with their family members at home, which is a lot of people. So this has been a very important project for us over the years.
I see many changes, and it has reached our life as well. And we are so happy and proud of everyone who works with Stuff for Life, the coaches, the musicians, the teacher, everyone who worked with this program. I'm very proud of them.
The most issues, problems that the young people are facing with is the abuse, domestic violence, it's rape, yes, and negligence, which is a lack of parenting. So there is that huge gap, and it makes it hard for the young people to go for their dreams or to study well or to be as a normal human being. So it affects them mentally big time.
I mean, we could come into school, let's say 1,000 children, 500 girls, and 40, 50 of them could be pregnant. And when the girls here get pregnant, they leave the school, sit home in the village, get maybe $30, $40 per month, take care of the kid, don't get any education. The boys doesn't take any responsibility, which is sad. So when we follow up on the school, we could see a number of things. One is that the teenage pregnancy go down.
The girl is very important to teach them that they are allowed to say no to sex, and they are allowed to have their own dreams, not only to have babies and like that and follow the man. And if they are a group in a school, everyone has the same education about this. They can strengthen each other. So that's important for the girl, but it's important to teach the boys as well how to behave to the girls.
We want to generate, so they see a future for themselves, hope, good motivation.
Then maybe they have so bad home conditions, so they don't see a future. They don't think they are allowed to have dreams for the future because they have so much to do with the home and with everything, daily things. And maybe they have a long way to school. They have to walk along for 1 hour, 2 hours to school. Maybe not any food in the morning, and they are very tired when they come to school.
My role, I'm a coach, so I come with a psychosocial support and play therapy, where we dance jablani and share stories with the kids. And in that way, they are able to open up as well. I was a student in Stuff for Life schools. Back then, it was 2006. So it influenced me. It influenced me in many ways, and here I am today. I'm the role model to the young ones.
And it's actually the individual stories that gives you inspiration and gives you energy to continue. Because if you could save one people's life, I think you have done tremendous things. Because for that person, it's such a big difference.
Oh, there are so many children that we have seen from the beginning, 11, 12 years, and now they are doctors and teachers and musicians and like that, and we're very happy.
Stuff for Life is giving the people, is giving the community. They teach us many things, parenting. They teach us how to be a responsible people. You know, so it changes us into good people, into a positive human being. You know, so it has a huge impact in success, in how do we treat ourselves, how do we behave, and to be responsible, basically.
We have sessions where our coach is having a one-on-one session with our kids. Let's say we are having those kids who are having some problem, maybe some social problems, bullying or whatever problems. Secondly, with social ills. Sometimes most of our kids, they do have some problems at their home. If you can look at our community here, most of the parents, they are not working. They only depend on social grants. So now they can't afford to buy school uniforms. Staff for Life just donated us even school uniform.
But we work very well together with the local government. So the Department of Schools, they tell to us, we would like you to do the program in this and this and this school. Fine. And here in South Africa, they have a special courses or themes called life skill development. And we fit in very well there because we learn them life skill to take care of their health and so on. So we are a normal part in the ordinary schoolworks, and that's important. Not some outside NGO who does something outside the school. We're inside the school, working together, educate the teachers, having counseling there, so on.
Since the music and dance and the culture is very strong in this culture, the Zulu and the African culture, we are using the music as a tool to reach out to the kids, and we're using elements and lyrics in the songs that we write that describes the theme and the pillars of the Star for Life program. So instead of speaking, we're using them so they can use them as almost like mantras when they get into situation they need some extra energy, like when they walk to school they can walk and sing AIDS free, that's me, AIDS free, things like that, so they can use them in the daily basis. So it's a lot of power and energy in the music that we try to reach
Music is mantra. It's your feelings. You know, it talks to your feelings and it involves the whole of you. So if we put the pillars of the Star for Life program into music, you can more easily remember, you know, what's going on in the program.
Music is a positive, happy way to learn life. And it's especially here, the music is a very big part of their life. So I think we need to have music, more music.
With 20 schools in South Africa and Namibia and 450,000 students, the challenge that the Star for Life founders have set is first to empower the population with information about HIV/AIDS, but also to inspire children and youth to imagine possible futures beyond their immediate reality. This is a country that for many centuries lived under the rule of colonizers, a population ripped apart by injustices, poverty, and racism. This project seeks to support the construction of a different future for these communities.
We want to focus on this program and educate the minds of the. We actually invest in the young people. That's what we in their mind, but for their own future, and not for some political or religious system that we want to introduce them, because they are stars in their own life and we want them to be stars. But if they're going to be stars, they need to understand that they need to live a healthy life. So drugs comes in, alcohol, and protects themselves if they have sex. When we started for 15 years ago, you know, AIDS was scary. If you had AIDS, you thought it was death. So people didn't want to know. So, and when you have HIV, you don't feel anything. It's when it's transformed over to AIDS, you might die in 2 years' time or something. So a lot of people doesn't want to go test themselves. Because if you go and test yourself and you're HIV positive, with drugs today, it's not a death penalty. You could live a life with HIV today. So go and test yourself is an important part of our program.
During her visit to the Safari Primary in Kwa Zulu Natal, one of the schools where the Star for Life program is implemented, Gunilla Carlson, former secretary of the United Nations AIDS program, explains that 15 years after the 2005 crisis, the numbers have changed, but not as much as expected. By 2018, 7.7 million had HIV in South Africa. Among them, 4.7 million were women and 260,000 children. The number of orphaned children as a consequence of AIDS-related deaths just in that year was 1.2 million. Today, deaths as a result of AIDS continue to be a daily reality.
Just back 15 years, the world was really in a crisis. You could argue we are there today, right? But when it came to HIV/AIDS, people were literally dying at the doorsteps to have access to health care and understanding about what was happening. At that time, people couldn't find treatment, but it was due to global solidarity, but also local capacity. HIV, despite good treatment programs, with less risks of transmitting the virus, we still see that about 770,000 people died of AIDS-related death in 2018. And the most scary thing, I think, is that it was 100,000 kids. You know, so AIDS is not over. In Kwa Zulu Natal, here is the real problems. Here you have HIV prevalence up to 41%.
Even though we cannot disclose how many kids that are being infected here by the school, but we do have, since last year, we had the kids, they were taking their medication, but we do have those learners who are affected with HIV and AIDS. And also they are under program which is for counseling, whatever, just to help them emotionally. It's just a whole school program when you come just to teach them and precautions, how to take care of themselves, and also what is HIV and what is AIDS, just so that they will know that they must take for their bodies, they must take for themselves, so that they will not be affected or infected with HIV and AIDS.
We have the mobile clinics going around to the school, and they take tests, and they talk about it to them. And I think that's a difference from when we come here, started, and to today. I think people know much more about HIV and AIDS, so they know what to do. Before they didn't, and maybe they died with another thing, but it was AIDS. And they didn't tell, they didn't want to see it.
And what to do about it? Well, it is really to have partnerships and work together. You have to transform societies from within, and you have to equip individuals and people with skills, but also to give them the space to meet. We can start to talk about this, but equally having the access to health and clinics. And younger kids in general have their sex debut. but also unfortunately drug abuse and other things. And the level of violence in a society is really something that needs to be watched.
After we have this program with the Staff for Life, there are some results, good results. I can say that. Because let me start here. There are some kids that were dropping by the school, but we didn't know what was the root cause of that. And we reported that to our coach. He personally went to those homes just to identify what is the root cause. They said, we don't have food at home, so that's why we are dropping at school. So we just track and have that project just to assist them even after hours so that they will just be motivated. Because others, they are living at their home with no parents. They are living with themselves. They are child-headed families because of this HIV and AIDS.
Big problem in South Africa, and that's unemployment, especially for the young people. And they need to change that system because the young generation is the future. They need to have education, but they also need to have jobs. That's a big challenge.
Close your eyes. Let the limit be the sky.